Greetings in the best of salutation. There would be prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity, and that which encompasses and embodies praise, which is an informed act. In my uh, little time here on this plane of existence called Earth, and as my self introspection and observation and some research and time spent with myself, with my thoughts, with my feelings, and with others. I have come to learn to know um, that I said that I labor in the field of life transitional endeavors, trying to make an impact wherever I go. And I am to a point now where that's how I make a living. By trying to make, by laboring in the field of life transitional endeavors. I've also learned that you can tell the meaning of a thing in the context in which it is used, putting the little pieces in a context together in a context. For example, which means it must be tested. And I myself must be tested. For me, a test is designed to see how you process information. You know, if there is something that you have put together, you want to see if it works or not. It must be tested. But then this leads to really a transformation, a transformation system. Some will call it transformative power. Transformation system, where the coherent whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Because the individual is nothing but the sum total of the whole. I approach this two ways. One is universally, and the other is holistically. The universal approach is one that is designed uh, to produce or be able to readdress social diversity, move from a persecuted minority to a privileged majority. The second one is the um, holistic approach, that is to revive social coherency. I like to say that I try to operate as a social health engineer, which is the central of my intelligence, trying to counter that which has been socially engineered or constructed to devalue me. I said this here, and the 5-star approach of common humanity. One is universal, holistic, progressive, I should say, universal, holistic, comprehensive, and conscientious. So let's deal with these two approaches, which is my cross when it comes to effort, diversity, time, and coherency. Let's look at the two, the effort and the time. Because when I labor in the field of life transitional endeavors trying to make an impact wherever I go, my effort is done not to create unnecessary expenditures and not to waste time by economizing my time. Yes, I said here the effort, therefore the operation of the mission. The mission is to promote the value of self-worth. Has taken on the effort of appealing to the human integrity. I'm still laboring in the field of life transitional endeavors. Indignity. Because the only reason why I say dignity, everyone is endowed to live in dignity. The dignity of each other's resiliency. Why? Because resiliency is the author of success. All of those sperm cells and people made it, that's being resilient. And it takes it out of someone saying that God this, God that, God this, God told me this, God told me that. So resiliency is the author of success. So as I'm appealing to the human integrity and dignity of each other's resiliency of self-endurance, of self by reacquainting ourselves, with the tolerance of others and the tolerance of ourselves for the need to readdress social diversity for the common, mature, benevolent community. Benefiting from the transactions of our social interactions, the combination of this arrangement of team chemistry, of this science must be synthesized without strife. Without strife. I labor in the field of life transitional endeavors. The arrangement, the contract arrangement of team chemistry of this science must be synthesized without strife. I approach this universally. This happens to deal also with tolerance and knowing the importance of self-endurance. This is the effort that I put forth. The time. Time is measured by light. Time is infinite. Therefore, the operation, notice this is an operation of a mission, which is to promote the value of self-worth, has taken on the time of appealing. I'm appealing to the human integrity and dignity. Why? Because I keep using integrity and dignity because integrity is your word, or is our word. And I try to protect and defend my integrity with dignity, and I try to do it the benevolent way. Each other's resiliency of self-discipline. Each other. It is the interaction that we are having one with another. And I will explain that in a minute. Because as I said earlier, that when we're dealing with therapy, psychotherapy, whatever we want to call it, we are communicating, we're sending a message to those who are paying attention from a child, and those whom we who see on the outside, who are looking in, as well as we are interacting with one another. So that's three things that are happening. Yes. But the resiliency of reacquainting. Notice I said reacquaint ourselves and with others. Temperance slash temperament. Self control over one's attitude. Now, yes, we were to revive social coherency of the common, mature, benevolent community, benefiting from the transactions. Transactions. Everything is always transaction. This is business. It's a transformation system of business. Of our social interactions by not wasting time and creating unnecessary expenses, focusing on what's that bring forth the best results. That's empirical data. Empirical data. For the purpose it was designed for, the science of this must be economized. Economized. Now I did say that I was going to share something in regards to, I believe it was, I can't recall what it was, reacquainting ourselves with ourselves and with others. I can't recall what it was, but one thing I'm coming to realize that where it is difficult and challenging for me to support this mission. But I do my best to continue labor in the field of life transitional endeavors and try to make an impact wherever I go. And the record proves that that is what transpiring. How I arrange this or go about doing this, it just must continue to take place, and people must, and people not must, but they will come to this understanding. And the arrangement of the first one, it deals with the effort is about team chemistry, and the second one about the approach, holistic approach, is to focus on not wasting time and creating unnecessary expenditures and bring forth the best result. Meaning some people are just good in certain areas of what they do. Now, I was thinking about people who are in the health field, mental health field, and how they, and even in the business field, maybe a lawyer or whatever, a liar, well, lawyer, liar, I don't know. But the thing is really to try to, when I say that it's all about, I didn't say it, but it's about conciliatory healing. Meaning that there are those who offer you counseling, they offer you consolation. What I offer you is conciliatory healing, which means that which is propitiatory, meaning reducing hostility. The work that I do and the intention of it is to reduce hostility. It is about goodwill, and it is about favor. Then there's 4 keys to the success. The four keys to success is the need meeting period. It is designed to address the incentives and motives of intent, that we become properly motivated and furthering the value of becoming reacquainted with ourselves and ourselves. There is the issue resolving period, which is designed to readdress the initiatives of one's determination of intent, that we expand the image of our worldview, properly further becoming reacquainted with ourselves. For the problem solving period, which is designed to readdress the influence of environmental concerns, and that deals with devices, and we won't let devices hinder nor prevent us from being able to properly reason with one another and from the premise of conversation, further becoming reacquainted with ourselves. Because I realize that many are losing their ability to exercise their ability to reason with one another. And when you're able to reason from the premise of conversation and reason with progression, when there is no reason, you become mentally incapacitated. In religious sense, that is a demon that is present, that is very demonic. Yes. And the fourth key to success is the question and answer period was designed to address indicators and directives of intent, that the virtue, by way of virtue, we will properly become reacquainted with ourselves. Now I want to close in this manner now of saying that all that is done when I labor in the field of life transitional endeavor is designed to uh, resolve 5 learning disabilities. Chica Diop said, once you throw off the intellectual aptitude of the environment, throw the ecology of the environment, one's intellectual aptitude for learning becomes difficult. But these primary two that these primary two learning disabilities, other than the other three, when it comes to laboring in the field of light transitional endeavors, the effort is to deal with alienation. Alienation. Let's say alienation, because it could change. For me, it changes. It ain't. It's not dogmatic. It's not rigid. It changes. Well, let me back up with the 5 learning disabilities. First of all, feeling of inadequacy 1, alienation 2, grievance 3, discrepancy 4, and indifference/differences 5. Let's deal with inadequacy, a feeling of not being good enough. One's inability to deal with life, self-doubt, lack of self-worth. When you have done the best you could, life experiences constantly beat you down. You ask yourself the question, am I good enough? Yes, you are. 2, alienation, lack of sympathy. I said one's purpose in life is to reach its full potential, to move from sympathy to empathy, not to reflect carelessness nor callousness. Lack of sympathy, interest, and enthusiasm. When one's environment becomes ill-nurtured, uncultivated, hostile, and not caring, he or she will be more likely to take on the identity of the environment. No one cares, so why should I? 3, and the 5 learning disabilities. There is a sense of deep-seated resentment, grievance, self-hatred, disdain for ourselves. We deal with unhealthy anger, animosity, distrust, frustration, and anxiety attacks. As a result, misplaced anger is usually directed at the wrong person. Misuse aggression. So, yes, there must be a, a fitted release point as it pertains to this deep-seated resentment, self-hatred, and disdain that some of us have for ourselves. Discrepancy, lack of compatibility, prevents us from learning how to reason with each other sensibly and respectively, in the manner in which we communicate with one another, and the manner in which we use our words. Yes. The challenge is to live with yourself. Respect yourself. Be happy with yourself. Love yourself by way of how you treat yourself as well as you treat others, regardless of a person's status in life. Indifferences/differences, lacking importance or significance. That is a term called niggardly, Naggardly. I believe it is LLY or LY, which means trivial. People becoming very trivial, easily offended, like a trigger in a trap. And then when they see you as insignificant, they see themselves as insignificant, and they see you as insignificant. So this deals with the principle of self-acceptance. That is your uniqueness. The leaf, the blade of the grass is different. A person doesn't appreciate and accept him or herself. You must accept yourself. And then they end up degrading and devalue themselves. And they will devalue others. And by them being devalued, they will devalue others. And that gives them value. But they haven't dealt with the root cause. And that's lacking of importance or insignificance in the principle of self-acceptance. And then people participate in destructive tendencies toward their demise. Yes. And I say this in closing: in resolving the 5 learning disabilities, wherein the individual found to become more understanding, these are results of understanding each other, equates to restoring social diversity, wherein they come to know their tolerance level. First of all, you come to understanding, then you know their tolerance level. By better managing it, equates to readdressing social diversity, wherein they become their and be able to control the attitude. They become less temperamental. They display more confidence, and they become more respectful. 5 ways to communicate this is to administrate. Once we learn to administrate this thing, we will facilitate. Once we facilitate, we coordinate. Once we coordinate, we aggregate, which means we bring together to become a coherent whole, and create the continuity of our confidence in connection with the continuity of our confidence and cooperating with one another. You can have all the organization in the world, but you must have cooperation that must precede it, because discipline precedes knowledge. And then finally, we perpetuate. And when you perpetuate, it deals with conciliatory healing and reduce the animosity, the distrust, the anxiety, the suspicions that we may have one another. And then we will gain the favor that is needed one with another. So, that's a lot. I labor in the field of light transitional endeavors. I do my best to make a living that way, to make an impact wherever I go. I said you can best tell the meaning of a thing in the context in which it is used, putting little pieces in a context or putting it together. This leads to a transformation system where the coherent whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That is the highest synthesis. My effort in doing so is not to create, my intended effort is not to create unnecessary time or unnecessary expenditures by not wasting time and by economizing my time, as well as I cannot economize the time of others, but I would save my time, because this is the mission, which is to promote the value of self-worth. a transformation system. As I offer conciliatory healing, that which reduce animosity, anxiety, distrust, hostility, that which is in our favor is to administrate, facilitate, coordinate, aggregate, and perpetuate, which means favor. Keys to success: meet the need, resolve issues, answer the questions. One more time in closing. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. Until next time, talk to you.